truth. Really, that's all we know. Keep it real and authentic. This truth be told. Only the truth. Tune in, cause you gotta watch. It's like you with us while we kick it in the barbershop. Here to motivate and inspire. Hosted by the real deal and the God Barber. I hope that you ready. Keep it funny and edgy. Let's go. You already know. Truth be told. Let's go.
Hey, man, we back, man. This is the God Barber, baby. This is season 9. I know last season I said I wasn't begging, man, for all these subscriptions on YouTube. But I'm begging. I need y'all to hit that subscribe button, man, on YouTube, man. Please hit the button, man. Y'all go to the button right now, man. Put your face. All they do is look, this one finger and just do that. And tune in with us on Facebook, man. Hit them views. Keep looking at us. And, man, we're going to keep bringing this thing, man. Like I told y'all last season, man, we trying to be the #1 podcast in the state of Florida. So help us out, man. Let's do this thing now.
And Green, man, talk about the #1. Let's talk about the #1 print partner that we got. You know what I'm saying? You know, they call them boys print fanatics. My homeboy James Lee over there, man. Hey, why don't y'all get at my boy? You know what I'm saying? Last season, he graciously helped sponsor TBT, and we back again, baby. Same thing. Same
back
logo,
again,
different looks. Every time I look at you, Green, you look good, though, man.
Boy, I'm sweet, baby.
Hey, you sweet because of print fanatics, baby.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying?
Sweet.
Hey, if you guys need any type of printing, banners, cards, posters, hats, denim shoes, leather shoes, boots, man, tags, I don't know, man. The list just keep going on and on, man. Get at James, man. He got something very special for you. Tell him, truth be told, sent you, and see what we do. Hey, let's get to the interview, Green.
Let's do it, baby.
We'll be in season 9. Oh, wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Season 9, baby.
Man.
Season 9, Green.
Season 9, boy. But we fine in season 9.
Well, you been doing your thing too in that weight room, boy.
Yes, sir. But
I ain't gonna say you fine. I'm gonna leave that to your wife.
But I'm trying to get my swole on, boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been working on this gut, man, about 9 years.
Well, what's going? Now tell me.
I've been working on this gut for 9 seasons. This is season 9.
Yeah, season 9.
This is the 9th season I've been working on this gut.
I remember back in the day, probably season 2 or 3 or something like that. We said at some point we gonna take the shirts off live.
Yeah.
You still on that?
No. No. Not right now.
You not on target, you not on pace.
Because I don't have a 6-pack. I got a keg.
Well, dog, just keep working, big dog. I got some faith in you, though.
Yeah, I'm working, man. I'm working.
Well, listen, man. Hey, welcome to Truth Be Told, man. I'm your host, Real Deal. They call me Real Deal. This is my homeboy, my co-host, T
yes,
Green.
Sir.
You know what I'm saying? We not call you your government this season. We just gonna keep it T Green, the God.
Yeah, let's do that, man.
That sound better?
Man, I don't care, man. You can call me Terrence. Wesley Green, that's my full name. I don't care.
Your name, your real name?
Terrence.
Well, your name Terrence?
Yeah. See, in elementary, they call me Terrence. In middle school, they call me Terry. High school, they call me T Green.
Well, you...
Yeah.
and now they call you the God Barber.
In college, I went to HBCU, right?
Yeah.
They call me that nigga. But you that nigga, boy. That's my nigga.
Well, I like that, man.
Hey, excuse me, y'all. I ain't mean to say the word nigga. You that Negro.
No, that's what they call you. They call you that. They call you,
Yeah, man, we got to get off that word nigga, I guess. It sounds better if you say Negro.
Yeah.
I was that Negro in college.
Okay, but they didn't call you that, dog. We just
they ain't call me that, man. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, listen, man. Hey, we got a special guest today. This is a conversation that we can kind of relate to. You know, anytime it's dealing with something like this, I get excited. You know what I'm saying? Because
baby.
Not only can we talk about it, but now we got somebody that's been on a different level.
Yes, sir.
That can also expand our knowledge and kind of talk about some things that maybe me and you don't know, Green.
Boy, this is what I like about our podcast, man. We get to meet people, man, and get to know what they're about, other than what they did.
Hey.
You know?
Yeah, absolutely. So can we go ahead and
Man, let's bring them in, boy. I'm ready for this one, boy.
Hey, listen, man. Today's guest, man, we got a former NFL player, played for 9 years in the league, right? Four different teams. All right. I actually got drafted in the second round to the Cardinals. Also attended the North Carolina State University.
North
You
Carolina.
know what that's at, Green?
Yeah, man. That's the Wolfpacks, ain't it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's what I thought. All right.
Red and white.
Yeah, man.
right.
Hey, man. Currently coaches high school and on the youth league level. Beautiful family. We're gonna talk a little bit about that family, man. Let's just welcome to the TBT podcast, Mr. Mike Jones.
Big Mike,
Yeah.
baby. Big Mike, baby. Big
Hey,
Mike.
thank you for having me.
Look. We ain't talking about Mike Jones, the rap either, man.
No, Mike. No,
No, we ain't
not
talking
that
about Mike
one.
Jones.
Not that one. Not
Nah,
that one.
nah,
We're
nah.
talking about the Mike Jones.
Mike Jones, baby.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and I'm here to settle a lot of confusion here in the great Palmetto area. It's a lot of confusion. Some people think I am the rapper. But, it helps now that I have a celebrity daughter, so people are coming around, hey, you're such and such daughter.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that helps.
Well, not only that helps, but to see you in person, because if they didn't see you, they probably thought you were Billy D.
Well,
Yes, sir.
You know
That
what I'm
voice,
saying?
boy.
That voice. Now you gotta tell me about the voice, man.
Yes, sir.
Come on. I mean, do you use it to your advantage sometimes?
man,
Come on, Mike. You gotta keep this truth be told, bro.
this is truth be told.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Truth be told, I can't help it. I have to.
That boy got that Colt 45.
Well, I thought we need to bring a Colt
Oh,
45
man.
in, boy. Cause I'm
Everybody knew
boy.
that there might have brought that Colt 45. Even though I don't drink, man. I just had to put it up, man.
Yeah.
But that boy Billy D.
Billy D. Oh, that's what they call it.
Well,
Billy D.
and these ladies in Palmetto drink a lot of Colt 45. So
Oh, Lord, boy. Hey, Mike.
shout out to the ladies in Palmetto.
Hey, Mike, when I was in college, they used to call it the nines. But boy drinking them nines, baby.
Yes, sir.
Man, listen, man.
Put many of them away.
Well, listen, man. Don't. We got people in the studio. At least one woman, man. Take it easy.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Take it easy.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, Mike. You mentioned about Palmetto. Where you from?
I'm actually from Columbia, South Carolina, but my dad is from right up the road in Ocala, and my mom is from Tallahassee. So I've always tried to be a Florida boy, adjacent Florida boy, I guess,
Okay. Okay.
So your mom went to FAMU?
Yep, my mom went to FAM for a year. Then she went to Benedict College following my dad. But my aunts, all my family went to FAM.
Oh, okay. So you got Rattler in your blood, man.
Straight Rattler.
Why you go to Rattler for football?
Well, I considered FAM, but actually I went to North Carolina State, man, and visited, and it was probably the most incredible place to go to college, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. There's so many schools in that area, HBCUs, PWIs, and it was just an amazing place. So
Yeah,
I bet it was.
Yeah.
But before we get to college, I want to talk a little bit about high school a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
My understanding, you played for your dad.
Oh yeah.
Played for your dad.
Yeah, my dad was a high school coach for 33 years in South Carolina, and I had the pleasure of and the pain of playing for him.
Yeah, I was just about to say, well, how was that experience? Because sometimes, playing for your dad, even coming up in Little League, your dad has got all this experience, and he wants you to be the best. How was that relationship with your dad?
It was a blessing and a curse. It was tough because by the time I got to high school, I went to a hood school, and so there was generations of families and hood cats that played for my dad, and my dad was like Joe Clark at the school. He got after cats, and so I had to reap a lot of the residue of all of what he put on cats. You know, they
Absolutely.
dumped a lot of that on me.
Absolutely.
So that made it tough, but it made me tough as well. And then having to deal with him wanting me to be a hard-nosed kid. But at the same time, he gave me some foundational pieces that made me who I am, without a doubt. And so
That's awesome.
Did your teammates feel like you had favoritism because your dad was a coach?
you know what? But when I started getting scholarship offers, there was a lot of the only reason he did it because of Coach Jones. Only reason he getting these scholarships because Coach Jones. Well, the only reason Bobby Bowden here at this school because of Coach Jones. The only reason Danny Ford here because of Coach Jones. And I was like, it fueled me. It made me, just try to knock people out.
Right.
Show them.
And you played tight end and linebacker
Yes.
in high school.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You didn't play on the D line.
No, I didn't play D-line until they fooled me in college. It's a funny story. My dad told me I was a 6'3", my senior year. I was a 6'3", 240-pound tight end and middle linebacker. And I remember one night my daddy brought home some Bojangles chicken. And he left out to run to the store, and by the time he came back, it must have been like a couple pieces left. I done mowed through that thing.
Yeah.
And he said, "Boy, you gonna eat your ass into a 4-point stand." And at the time, I'm standing out flexing at tight ends, burning cats, catching touchdowns. I'm like, yeah, right.
Yeah.
I got to summer school that summer, man, and we started fall camp. I think I played tight end maybe 10 minutes before they moved me to the D-line.
Wow.
Yeah, son, well, you want to play this shit, don't you? I was like, yeah, well, you need to go on down there and put your hand in the dirt with the D-lineman. I was like, that joker told my future.
Golly, man.
It's interesting you say that because that happens
yeah.
more than people really realize.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So who was the head coach at that time at North Carolina State?
Dick Sheridan, who just passed away maybe a couple of weeks ago. Coach Sheridan was the coach there at the time, and he had just gotten there maybe a year before I got there, and so it was a really new program, and I really was just used to programs, South Carolina and down Clemson, Georgia. So I really didn't know too much about North Carolina State except they had, Lorenzo Charles won the national championship with the alley-oop.
Yeah.
But, ended up taking a visit there and met my best friend, my brother, the very first moment I walked on campus, and that was it.
That was it.
So you was an All-American in high school coming out?
No, I wasn't. I wasn't All-American. I was All-State.
All-State.
All this, all that. Played in the Shrine Bowl, and
Okay.
which is a big game between North and South Carolina.
Right.
So what was your other schools that were recruiting you besides North Carolina State?
Oh, Clemson, South Carolina, pretty much all the ACC schools. I think probably the school furthest away was Southern Cal.
Yeah.
But it was a bunch, man. I had a bunch of just.
And you chose North Carolina State.
Yeah.
Why North Carolina State?
I'm telling you, I literally met my best friend on my visit. From the time, I'd never heard of North Carolina State. I paid attention when they played Clemson that year because I thought I was going to go to Clemson. And Clemson wanted me to switch positions. I was like, man, y'all crazy. I'm finna catch the rock. Went to North Carolina State. They told me, oh, yeah, you can play tight end. You can play fullback. We think you can play linebacker. It gassed me up. But I met my brother, my brother. I remember as soon as we dapped up, it was just love. And, man, he took me out that night, let me wear one. It was Adidas sweatsuits. Remember the Adidas sweatsuits?
Yes,
Ron
sir.
them was wearing. Man, he let me wear one out. We went out, man. Had girls all over me. I'm like, man, you my brother. I love you. I'm going to college here with you.
What?
Yeah, and we ended up being so much alike, man. He wanted to go to the league, and I didn't even know what I wanted to do, but I wanted to just work.
Yeah.
And he wanted to work, and he just, instilled the work ethic in me, man. I remember sometimes we would be the only cats out there running this big hill in the summer. All the rest of the boys be in the room playing the game, and we'd be out there getting it. And
Y'all still tight to this day?
to this day, we talk
That's
every
good,
day.
boy. That's good right there, man.
That's awesome, man. It's so funny how we had that where we went to college and find some of your friends that are there for life. And
Yeah.
it's an instant thing, man.
Yeah,
It happens
Life,
instantly.
man.
Yeah.
I had a situation very similar on a recruiting trip.
Yeah.
Same way. I would say same way. Decided to go same school together. So
That's dope.
I get it.
I can't relate to it. I can't relate to none of y'all what y'all talking about. There was no recruiting trip at EWC, boy. We just went there. And it is what it is. You hear me?
It is what it is.
Yeah, man. That's what y'all talking about, man. I don't know about all that stuff, man. Every Wednesday chicken up there, boy.
Well, I know about that Wednesday chicken.
Yeah. You was
I don't know if Mike know about that, but I know about that.
It was Thursday, and trust me, I was in the long line.
There we go. So, Mike, at what point, man, did you realize that you had the potential and opportunity to carry this football thing to the next level?
It's a good question, man. My best friend, my brother, who was a year ahead of me, his freshman year, he was freshman All-American, and by the time he was a sophomore, he was starting to get NFL ratings. And, one of the things that clicked about us was, we're both super competitive. So soon as I get on campus, I see he the man. Well, I want the title. Mm-hmm. And especially since they moved me to that position. So the more we playing spades, we hanging out in each other's room, but I'm low key reading about him, and I'm like, oh, they're saying this cat gonna go first round. And then I'm learning about the draft and learning about agents and hearing about how he's going to get projected, this and that, as our career go on. And I'm, okay. So I stuck to him like glue. Mm-hmm. And the more he continued to ascend on the off season, the more I realized, hey, this is how the grind is, and I can do it. And so that next season, man, he had a heck of a year. I had a heck of a year, and I kind of got on the scene, and it just went from there. He ended up going first round, and then that, I started to hear my name buzz a little more. And so, man, that joker, when he got drafted, going into my senior year, I'm broke as a joke, and he's like, hey, man, for every sack you get and every tackle for a loss you get, I'm sending you some money. I'm like, psh.
No, say less.
Man, what?
Yes, boy.
He fed the boy. He fed his boy.
Yeah, say less.
Yeah.
It's so funny, man. It's
good, man.
Similar stories. But let me ask you this, because you mentioned something about, you're super competitive, right? You also talked about when you got there, they told you you're going to play this. A couple of days later or whatever, you got your hands in the dirt.
Yeah.
That had to be a blow for you, I'm assuming. So what was the mindset when you learned, okay, I got to switch positions? Was it an easy thing for you to do? Was it that competitiveness in you? It really didn't matter. You were going to go ahead and get it done. What was it in you, or did it have any type of negative effect on you when you were going through that process of switching positions?
For me, I just saw a whole bunch of cats that I thought I was better than. And so I figured, I'm going to figure this out, because I know I'm better than him. I can look at him and tell I'm better than him. I don't know how he even got a scholarship.
Right.
He got the title. I'm going to figure this out. Right. And it was not easy.
Right.
I did some dumb things trying to figure it out, but, I was new to the position. I just figured I can do it.
Right.
And, it helped having, being in the position group with my best friend. That really helped the transition. Right. There was no hate. We just all went to work.
Yeah. So how was it? I mean, did you hit a point where, okay, they want me to switch from being tight end, right? Did you feel like you weren't good enough to play tight end or the people that was there was just that much better than you in your eyes?
Because they recruited you as a tight end,
yeah,
right?
They recruited me as a tight end. They recruited me and his two other kids. They brought in 3 tight ends, and I knew I was better than all of them and the guys that they had on the roster. I knew I was better than them. And I felt like they didn't give me a chance. But my dad helped me through that transition, because I was sour for a minute, going down there practicing. It's a different bang down in the trenches,
Right.
Out there, I'm taking on linebackers, and, you know, and I can handle them. But you know, down here you're getting double teams and traps, and it's coming so fast, and it was frustrating for a minute, no doubt.
Most definitely.
Crazy.
But you know, my dad was there to help me, you know, get through that tough part.
That had to be very important for you, man. I can't imagine, you know, if I was asked to switch positions.
And you never played that before.
Yeah, and not had somebody there that I can respect in that way.
Yeah.
That would have been tough. So I'm happy that your dad was there.
Yeah. Yeah. My boy helped too, man. He kept saying, "Yo, man, we'll be the baddest D line in the country now that you down here." And he sold me on it too, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
That must be a D-line thing, man, because like I said, I was watching the Warren Sapp story, man. He was tight end in high school. And he didn't play D-line until he got University of Miami. Yeah. They say he got too big.
Yeah.
And he was like, man, I'm not putting my fingers in the dirt, you know, but he ended up doing
He didn't put that fork down either.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So it's crazy. That must be like a little tight end thing. Must be some similarities or something somewhere.
I think you got to help, man, and be able to go from a tight end position where you have to do all these movements to catch the ball, the agility and all that stuff, and be able to switch it up, you know what I'm saying, and play down in the trenches, but still be able to utilize some of those skill sets to make sure that you get through, you know. So I see it twofold. That's just like high school guys that play basketball and also do football. I think it's a plus.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You know, to see those guys have that type of stuff, it just helps out. So
be more athletic, man.
Yeah,
athleticism, man.
Absolutely.
Totally. I wasn't there 2 days at the position before my coach gave me the nickname Big Cat. Because I was quicker than, you know, most of the cats that was down there.
Absolutely.
So, you know, it's definitely an advantage. Especially, you know, that's one thing I wish I could get these high school kids that, you know, think they're basketball players and they're going to go to the highest level playing basketball, and, you know, and they're 6'6" and they're 6'7" and they're playing center.
Yeah.
And, you know, they're 225, 230, 240, and I'm like, son, you could play left tackle and take care of your family for generations if you had the heart to come out here and play in the sun for 2-3 hours.
Right.
Or work in the sun for 2, you know. But a lot of them ain't built for that, man. They don't want that smoke. But they don't realize, man, that's probably the least, in my opinion, it's not as physical. To play left tackle or right tackle is not as physical as right guard or left guard or center. You're not banging as physical, especially the higher you go up.
Yeah.
You know, you're protecting the edge. That's what you get paid to do. And you see those guys play 12, 15 years.
Yeah.
Because they're not banging that much.
Yeah.
You know, and
it be athletic too. Like you say, the offense,
and
left tackle and right there, it be athletic.
Super
so like
athletic, super long.
Yeah.
You know.
So I can see what you're saying about them basketball players, man.
Yeah, they miss
you 6'6", 6'7", man. You ain't playing no center.
No.
In the NBA.
No, man. Please, they got guards at 6'7", and they undersized.
Yeah. So what, Mike? So you think you'd have made it to the NFL playing tight end? You'd have stayed with it?
Yeah, I think I would have.
You would have made it.
I think I would have. I was good run after the catch.
Yeah.
You know, I good blocker.
Yeah. Max, he'd be like Shannon Sharp, them out there, real.
Well, yeah. Hey, if my boy say he could have did it, Green.
I'm telling you, man.
You know what I'm saying? I have no doubt. You know what I'm saying? We can talk to me about his kids and stuff. It's an athletic family. We're going to get into that, though.
We got to get into that.
Hey, Mike, let's keep moving forward. So you finished up at North Carolina State, and you were drafted second round, number 32 overall to the Phoenix Cardinals at the time. All right. I want to talk a little bit about that because it's something interesting as I was doing my research, I ran across this. The same year that you got drafted, they also drafted number 6 overall, first round, Eric Swan.
Oh yeah,
from Swan, baby.
From what, Wake, it was a community college, I believe.
Well, Swan really didn't go to college. He didn't go to community college. He was supposed to go to North Carolina State.
Okay.
But he ended up playing a year of semi-pro in Boston, Massachusetts.
Okay.
Somewhere in Massachusetts, and he got drafted first round off that. He was an absolute freak.
Man, Swan. See, I remember Swan.
Yeah.
So hold on, man. So
yeah,
Swan was literally an NFL player out of high school,
Oh
basically.
yeah, absolutely.
So he
And
came from high, basically.
yeah,
Basically, I mean, when it boils down to it.
Yeah.
and listen, back then that's when they had that was Proposition 48. How they were keeping young black men out of college athletics at the time, because that's all it is. And Swan was a victim of that. I basically was at North Carolina State, and I can't remember what part of North Carolina he's from, but he was my recruit. My best friend and I, who is Ray Agnew, he's a assistant general manager for the Detroit Lions now. He was our baby. He was supposed to come. He was coming to North Carolina State, and we were going to have the best defensive line in the country. Agnew was a first-round pick. Swan was a first-round pick. I was a second-round pick. We had a safety that was a second-round pick. We had a corner that was a third-round pick. We had another corner that was a first-round. We had some killers on our defense. But Swan could never get past the test. And what's crazy is Swan is one of the most articulate guys you would ever meet in high school. Coming from a great family, just wasn't a great test taker. So I'm telling you, I watched this dude as a junior run the first leg of the 4x1, and he was 300 pounds. Big light skinned, pretty hair cat. He had a big ass thigh pad pulled up, a knee pad. You remember them old school knee pads?
Yeah.
He had that mug pulled up on his massive thigh because he had a hamstring injury. He didn't have no money, I guess, to get it. That big joker came off, and you just hear him thundering like a Clydesdale coming down the track. And he handed that thing off, and we was just like, whoa, freak.
Wow.
And, we thought we was going to have him, man. He'd even come up during the summer and stay with me in my dorm. And, we kicked it. We was going to be he was coming there for us to tear off Clemson's head because they was running the ACC at the time.
Absolutely.
He never does pass the test. He goes to Massachusetts, destroys them semi-pro cats. He leaves body parts everywhere up there for a few games. And so the scouts, he gets an agent, and next thing you know, he's working out the year I come out, my senior year. So we didn't get to play together in college, but we went through the same draft. And it's funny, the Cardinals had a regional scout that lived in Raleigh, North Carolina, Mr. Jerry Hardaway. Jerry's a great dude, black guy. Used to always talk crap to us. Y'all big NC State niggas used to talk junk to us. Man, he got the Cardinals to draft both me and Swan. And we was the beginning of them trying to rebuild that defense. And they actually added a few more pieces after us. And we kind of transformed the way defenses at that time played third down with sub packages and things of that nature, where teams would put in more receivers but still run the ball. Well, they put us big jokers in, and they start calling it big nickel. They put us 4 big linemen and 1 big linebacker, and everybody else was defensive backs. That was kind of the beginning of that era. Yeah, man, that's the short and dirty story of Eric Swan, the legend.
Well, listen,
Swan.
Shout out to Eric Swan.
Well,
Eric Swan from high school.
What was the regional guy that was the
Jerry Hardaway.
Jerry Hardaway? Okay.
Yeah, Jerry Hardaway was the regional scout for the Phoenix Cardinals, and
he got the Cardinals to draft you and Eric.
Yes.
All right, stop right there.
Swan, baby.
In 1988, the Cardinals drafted Tom Tupa from Ohio State as a quarterback. 1991 was the year that y'all came in, you and Eric. And Tom was the starting quarterback that year. He completed. The stats weren't that great, Green. From what I read, it said that he had 6 touchdown passes, 13 interceptions on 315 attempts that year. Went 4-9 over the last 13 starts as a quarterback for the Cardinals. Say the less, after that year, he never played. Well, I'm gonna say never. He didn't play quarterback for Phoenix anymore after that. Maybe the first quarterback that I heard that turned punter. He was token. He was also token 2-point Tupa. because at some point when he got to the Browns, he was specialized in getting the 2-point conversions because he was the placeholder, the field goal.
Yeah.
He would run a couple of those in, so they started calling him 2-point Tupa.
2-point Tupa.
My thing is this: he was the quarterback, 1991. Phoenix drafted 2 defensive guys, defensive tackle and a defensive end. You being picked number 32, Brett Favre being picked number 33. So I'm trying to figure out, looking back at it, Cardinals made a big mistake.
Nope, and I got a great answer for that. First, shout out to Toop. I played with Toop in New England as well, and he was a emergency quarterback, but he booted that thing and got us in position. That's another long story about Tupa and our assignment in New England. But the year before, the Cardinals drafted Tim Rosenbach out of Washington.
Yep.
Now, Rosie was supposed to be the next great quarterback. I mean, he had a cannon. He put up unbelievable numbers. I think maybe a year or two before he was drafted in the first round. And I'm telling you, I remember it like the back of my hand. We had a no-pad practice, and he was rolling out, and his knee gave away in practice. And he was done. And Tupa had to be our backup. That's why.
Okay.
And it just happened at the time we was in the NFC East, and so he was facing killers every week.
Gotcha.
Reggie one week, and you know it was crazy in the East, man. When you're the Arizona Cardinals and you suck like we suck, and you getting teams like the Cowboys coming in, it's just you have no fan support. It was Dallas, Emmett. You know, they coming in and moves, they cheering for all them. Next week it's Reggie. And you know, that's when the Eagles had Reggie, they had Jerome, they had Clyde, they had Seth, they had murderers on their defense. You know what I'm saying? And the next week, LT and the Giants, LT. We was getting smoked every other week. And we played the 49ers, Jerry Rice, and, you know, I played against Montana. I played after they got Montana with Steve Young. We was getting murdered out there. But we had some players, and it was just the difference in an organization that was willing to commit to get to the next level and organizations that did.
Right.
The Cardinals weren't ready to commit at that time.
Right.
They brought in some athletes. They had to, you know, in the NFL, you got to have a great owner, you got to have a great general manager, you got to have a great head coach, and you got to have a franchise quarterback. That's just, you look at the formulas that win Super Bowls, they got those in order.
Got that.
Yeah.
And the Cardinals weren't close.
And you still got to have that now.
Got to have it now.
You still got to have it now, man.
Yeah.
You know,
Look
but
at the Chiefs.
a lot of people don't realize that, man. You know, they think because you got this superstar on this team, that superstar on that team. No, it take a organization.
Yeah. Look at
Everybody got to be great.
Look at what the Eagles and the Chiefs are doing.
Oh yeah.
You know, top
to bottom.
top to the quarterback. Everything is great. That general manager, he's putting the pieces together.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so it's pretty dope to watch. But no, man, they ain't make no mistake. We just didn't expect Rosie to go down.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. I was just wondering now.
Yeah.
That's like that Michael Jordan thing, you know.
I'm trying to tell you, boy. They had a chance to get Brett Favre.
Brett Favre, you know what I'm saying?
Well, remember the Falcons got him.
Yeah, he ended up going to Atlanta, man,
But the Falcons didn't use him either.
and sometimes it's the right fit, you know.
Right.
So Mike, take me back right quick to draft day. How did you feel on draft day, man? I'm talking about coming from high school as a tight end, not even knowing you were going to be a defensive lineman. That's first and foremost. Then get drafted as defensive lineman. Tell me about that night, that draft night.
You know what, man? It was really, really nerve-wracking, you know, because that first round was the longest round in the history of the draft at the time. And so my family, if you saw a picture, there was a picture in the state paper of my family, man, and it looked like, you know, we had lost a family member, you know. It was awful. But, you know, after I got selected, man, it was really dope, you know, to see my dad and my mom. You know, I got a chance to retire my mom. She was in, she was a teacher. Both my parents were educators, so it was a really, really dope time to realize some of those things you dream about and you talk about with your boys. We used to sit around after we ran with shirts off and out there in the sun talking about how we would take care of our moms. And, it was super dope to realize that.
What?
That's good, man. So you end up playing for the Cardinals, Patriots. What are the two teams you was playing?
Then the St. Louis Rams, and then finished with the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah. And you spent most of your time with the Patriots.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
How was that playing? Was Bill there?
Yeah, Parcells was there, man. That was a lot of people from that generation of New England realized that was the beginning of that dynasty. We really were the foundation of the what is it called? Just do your job. Because believe me, they was getting the trash up out of there if you ain't do your job, bro. I remember my first year there. There was a cat. Bill told everybody, like, look, be here for the off-season program, because it was really a trash organization, man. When Bill got there, he got there the year before I got there. And I learned just over the recent years, our strength coach actually at the time he's retired and lives in Clearwater. And he told me when Bill got the job, the guy in charge of the scouting, the whole budget, man, he was tricking all over the country. Everywhere he went to scout, he was just prostitutes. And and so he was doing a trash job. And man, there were, players in there that didn't care. It was just deteriorating. It was the opposite of what it takes to win on a general manager quarterback. Mr. Kraft took over. Just Bill got in there. They drafted Drew Bledsoe. That's 3.
Yeah.
That's it right there.
Yeah.
Then they started bringing in guys like me, who was transitioning in their period from me, going from an organization who I thought gave up on me to an organization that's saying, hey, you on your way out of here. Here's your chance. And they brought in guys like me and took the guys that were there, that were the first-round picks and the fighters, the Ben Coates and the Sam Gashes, and put them with the new guys that they bought, man. And we formed a camaraderie around hating Bill, because he was so hard.
Right.
And, man, we just got tight, and we just started, we became a really, really tough physical bunch.
Wow.
We had a dynamic quarterback. He could, if we needed to run it, we could run it. I think that's my second year there. We drafted Curtis Martin. My first year there, they drafted Willie McGinnis. My third year there, they drafted Terry Glenn. We brought in cats like Sean Jefferson, and Ben Coates turned into Gronk before they ever heard of Gronk. I don't know if y'all remember Ben Coates.
I remember Coates.
But Ben Coates needs to be in the Hall of Fame. Bruce Armstrong, our left tackle, was if there's a guy that's underdeserved or that hasn't been served as far as his props as being one of the left tackles in the game, they need to go interview all those guys, Bruce Smith, Jason Taylor, and all those guys, and ask them if Bruce Armstrong needs to be in the Hall of Fame. Man, I watched this cat go to work against Bruce Smith and all those guys, and I guarantee you they would say, oh yeah, y'all need to let him in.
Wow.
Y'all need to escort him in, because he was the best. And so they took those core guys that they had that was really superior athletes and brought in guys who were pissed, and ready to accept the challenge, man. And and Bill was a master manipulator, man. He could find a way to motivate you, and you were gonna do it his way. And I remember one guy, man, he told us, be here this offseason, don't leave. And this guy just bought a McDonald's franchise. He's like, Bill, I just cut this check. I gotta go check on my business.
Yeah.
And the dude left for a month, and I understand he cut that check, and you gotta protect your investment. But man, he came back and he couldn't pass the conditioning test, and he passed out. Bill was like, man, when he wake up, take his ass to the airport.
Wow. Wow.
Good gracious, boy.
Was not
Hope-
playing.
I hope he still got his McDonald's friends, huh?
I hope so too. I hope
Big
so,
Mike,
too.
boy. We still got them Big Mics, boy.
Yeah.
Them cheeseburgers.
Well, man,
My goodness.
I, you know, when I look at everything, man, just looking at numbers and stuff like that, how's your NFL career? I mean, where do you think it fell at? You think you had a really good, solid career?
Yeah, I think I had a solid career, man. I
Looks like it. Definitely looks like it.
Yeah, I think when I tell people, especially players, young high school players that aspire to be defensive linemen and play at the next level, you know, I describe my career to them as a master of versatility. You know, I learned the hard way that I needed to learn how to play all positions and needed to learn all positions, you know, because I wasn't going to be victim of nobody's numbers game. You know, if I needed to put my left hand down and play on the left side, I could do that. But I could also switch to the right side. So you ain't got to take me off the field on third down. I can go play over the nose.
Yeah.
Or I can line up out wide and stand up,
Right.
you know, and do whatever,
Right.
you know. And so I encourage, you know, young guys to, hey, man, if they want you to move to the other side or want you to play some nose, embrace it, you know.
What's one of your most memorable plays? A play that you
Ooh.
said, if you had to put one play on your highlight tape, give me that scenario. What happened? What was that play?
Man. So the week before, I thought I was going to get cut. We was in Miami, and Luke set it out for some of us. And
Wait,
Luke.
let's make sure we say this
Hold
right
on
now.
now.
You said Luke. Are we talking about Luke's uncle?
See, back
Luke
then,
Skywalker?
Luke Skywalker.
that's the one.
Okay.
Well, hold on, Mike. What you was with the Patriots then, wasn't you?
Yes.
You said you went to Miami and
Yeah,
Luke said that.
we was playing in Miami, and somehow we ended up with Luke.
Wait, did you know Luke?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Hell yeah. It was.
Okay, the way you said. Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
He said, "What's
Yeah, I'm trying not to get into too many of the
I already
details.
see what you're trying
Yeah.
not to do.
Long story short, man, I got back. Me and my homie got back late to the meeting.
Oh, man.
Parcells was on fire. And I had two of my best games back to back. You know, I went out and played good against Miami, and we won that game. He gave me that look after game like, boy, your ass is lucky. But that next week, we went to San Diego, and, man, I hit, I think it was Stan Humphries. And I hit him, man, and his helmet must have rolled like 15 or 20 yards. And it was just a really, really dope sack.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what's up.
Yeah.
Hold on, man. Hey, no. Hey, we from Florida, man. I'm gonna take this thing right back to Miami. Man, we ain't getting off of Luke right now, man.
Man,
Mike, hold up, Mike. You say you hung out with Luke,
It was a few of us.
a few of y'all,
Yeah.
and after you hung out with Luke, you had your best game.
I had to, man, because I was gonna get cut.
Okay, Mike.
I knew it.
Okay,
Me
Mike,
and my boy, we were the only two late to the meeting. Too late. You know, when you walk in, my position coach, he was out in the hallway looking for us. It's a long story of madness, man.
So yeah.
We walk in, and the whole team look at us, and Bill doesn't. He the only one that doesn't look at us.
Know what that means?
Yes, sir. So that night I go to bed, man, I could barely sleep. I'm praying, like, Lord, don't, I'll never do it again. This and all of that. Just praying, man.
He must have had a good night, but he had a good game, boy, hanging out with Luke, boy.
Man, it was wild.
Were you married then?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we gonna keep going.
Keep going now. Keep going now. Keep going now.
Keep
But
it going.
that boy had a mean song out back in them days, boy. You know what kind of song he had out back in them days, boy?
Boy, it
Me
was,
so horny and all that, there, boy. Well, keep it going now. Keep
was
it going,
wild.
boy. Keep it going,
It
boy.
was always a challenge playing in Miami.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's why sometimes, when I look, I like to do a little, now that I'm done,
Yeah.
I like to do a little betting. I'd play fantasy football, and I can always look at the schedule and say, Miami, September, they've set schedule. Nah, they finna lose this, man. They're going to be out. They're going to be in them streets. And then December, they 4 and what? They're going to oh, hell yeah, they're going to lose.
They
Boy,
really
they're
don't
going to
care.
be out and live. They're going to be out. They're going to get their head tore off. Watch. And sure enough, I'll be right. They
I
be
never
got
thought
the,
about that.
Yeah.
Man, that's some inside stuff.
yeah.
Right
Oh yeah,
there.
you got to know what city team's going to, man. I look at them.
Yeah.
I look at New York, and they what? Shit, they ain't finna miss this opportunity. They gonna be in them streets.
They be in the streets.
So
I
Mike,
love it.
okay, when you came, as a tight end, so I guess you loved playing tight end back in the days.
Yeah.
Did you have a favorite tight end that you idolized? Who was your idol
Oh
tight
yeah,
end?
without a doubt, Kellen Winslow.
Kellen Winslow.
Yeah, Kellen Winslow was the man.
Okay, and then when you transferred over to D lineman, who was your idol as a D lineman?
Reggie.
Reggie White.
Yeah, man, it was a really dope moment in my life. I got to train with Reggie during the off season because he'd always do Sterling Sharp's camp. Sterling played for Green Bay.
Yeah.
Shout out Sterling and Shannon Sharp. I'd always go do their camp in Columbia, South Carolina, and Reggie would be there training, man, and it was just like witnessing a modern marvel at the time, man. Reggie was huge, and we'd be out on the track in between camp sessions, man, and that joke would be leading the workouts, and his just presence was just amazing, man. It was like he was like Jordan, man, to us. This joker glowed.
Where were you when you heard the news about Reggie?
Oh man, I know. Gosh, I can't remember where. I know it rocked everybody. It was scared,
Yeah.
It was scary. Yeah.
I can only imagine, man.
Yeah.
Because, just the way you described him, I think people from the outside that didn't play with him,
Yeah.
I was a younger kid, but I just knew it was something different about him.
Yeah.
It was something about him that seemed like everybody seemed to look up to him.
Yeah.
No matter if he was a player, no matter if he was a fan, no matter if he was a little kid. It just seemed like he had everything that you would want in, if you had to make somebody say, this guy, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
Super personality. Everybody loved him. He loved the Lord. Great family. Hall of Fame career, and just to have him pass away tragically like that was, the beginning of a wake-up call for a lot of guys health-wise.
yeah.
We started to see a pattern of big guys that we played with and played against pass away. I've lost a couple of teammates over the years and guys that I played against. Big Chester McLaughlin passed away, and P.O. and just year after year you see that stuff. I mean, it just makes you say, man, what's going on? Why are we passing away like that? And it made a generation of us get ourselves examined more and find out what's going wrong. And I have to give the NFL props. They're doing a lot more with the most recent collective bargaining agreement to offer resources for us to get ourselves examined. So I'm grateful for that.
I got a question for you. Tell me who you'll take out of these DNs.
Uh-oh.
Derek Thomas, Jason Taylor, LT.
That's tough. To me, Jason Taylor's not in that conversation.
Okay.
Jason Taylor's a great edge guy, but those two, Derek Thomas and LT, were game changers. I don't think offensive coordinators plan to stop Jason Taylor like they plan to stop DT and LT. You had to have a plan. Okay, if this dude gets hot, we got to change the protection, put another back over here and chip him. Or we got to set a tight end over there to just create. They had to make a plan. And a lot of times they didn't work. So now who do I take out of both LT and DT? I'm going to have to go with LT. I have to go with LT because of
Because you seen both of them play.
yeah, I've seen both of them,
You
man.
seen both
and
play,
just,
boy.
Oh, boy, that guy.
LT just
58 and 56, baby.
man. DT was the beginning of that get off era where
Oh,
guys
yes.
just
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
exploded off the rock, and
Yeah. Yeah.
offensive tackles had to really evolve into a more athletic guy that could really kick vertical and turn and really be a defensive back at some point.
Yeah.
LT was just beat your ass, whatever you want to do. Y'all want to run at me? Okay, let's do it. Now it's time to pass. I'm finna kill him. You know, however you wanted it.
I'm finna what?
I'm finna kill it.
LT, baby.
Oh, yeah.
56.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
boy.
he tell you what he getting ready to do. You know, I'm gonna line up over the guard now. Finna whip his ass. I'm finna hit you, son. It's coming. He was just that dude, you know, and it was dope to watch cats go at him, you know, because he was LT, that didn't mean he wasn't getting that smoke, you know. They was coming at him, you know, but he was still doing his thing. You know, I don't know if DT could have took the physicalness that came out of him in the NFC East. You know, LT was in the East. The East was, you know, there was the Redskins had the Hogs. You know, them boys wasn't no joke.
Yeah.
You know, Dallas had, you know, Emmett was running for all them yards. Then that shoot, Big Nate Newton and all them big boys they had, man. Big Eric Williams and them boys, man. Them boys was dogs. You had to fight every week, man. I'm playing them boys.
Man, you going up against them boys, Big Mike.
Man, you had to bring that smoke, dog. You just like, you either go out there and get your brains beat out, or you just go to war with these cats. And so, I'm proud to say that I had to line up and go to war with these cats because they was the earth's best,
right?
You know, no doubt.
So Mike, let me ask you. So I mean, we can talk football all day, man.
Oh yeah, no
We
doubt.
can talk football all day. Listen, so you play interior D-line, using the interior.
Both. I play both. Yeah.
So who, in your eyesight, was one of the most underrated D linemen in your era?
Underrated.
Underrated, like somebody that was really good, but they just didn't talk about him. And who was the most? I'm gonna get messy. Who was the most overrated D lineman in your time that you seen?
I don't think there was anybody overrated, man. You know, because at the end of the day, if they're calling your name, you probably balling because it ain't easy in there. You know, so if you in there, you playing, you probably baller.
Yeah.
You know, you got to be because that smoke coming as soon as you put your hand down.
Okay.
So underrated. I played with a cat who was one of my best friends. And his name was Josh Evans.
Mm-hmm.
Josh played with me in Tennessee. And Josh passed away 2 or 3 years ago from one of the most awful cancers I've ever seen. But Josh was maybe, I think he might have been 6'1", maybe 270, 275, 280. But boy, this joker was grown man, strong, and violent with his hands and just tough. He was from Alabama. He played college, I think, at was it Troy or something like that?
Mm-hmm.
And he fought to stay in the league. He was with the Cowboys for a minute. He ended up making it with the Oilers and then stayed with the Titans. And when I was at the end of my career, when they brought me into the Titans to kind of mentor that young group of defensive linemen, they drafted Javon Kearse. And they had these young group of linemen, Kenny Holmes from the University of Miami. And so my role was kind of I'd been to a Super Bowl with New England. They wanted to kind of bring some of that maturity to that position group. And because I was damn near on one leg by then, man. And them big boys was rolling. I knew I was about done. So I was grateful for the opportunity, man. But this dude had the most violent hands. When he decided to play or when he was ready to take over, man, couldn't nobody in the NFL stop him. I mean, nobody. Nobody. He played with leverage and explosion to where anybody he lined up on run game, you see their head snap back like they got hit with one of them punches last night.
Wow.
And when it was time to pass rush, you just see him. He ain't explode off the ball, but he just made violent moves. And you see guys just move because he clubbing the shit out of him and knocking him out the way.
Wow.
And he made, and you'll see in the Super Bowl and in that playoff run, but when the Titans played the Rams in the Super Bowl, you'll just see him make play after play after play in each game. He's just a difference maker in each game.
That's cool. That's cool, man. You mentioned something, man, that kind of caught my attention when you was talking. I played with Jay Curse at Florida.
Mm-hmm.
So, we just talking about DNs. I mean, where would you put him at as a DN?
Javon's one of the top defensive ends to ever play the game. I think he's, in that era of edge guys, I'd say he's in the pack of being one of the tops.
Mm-hmm.
He what he did as a rookie was just phenomenal. They didn't know what to do with him.
Right.
Nobody did.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when you're such a dynamic, explosive athlete, big like him, you're racing against time because your explosiveness, it's going to just wear and tear at your body.
Mm-hmm.
And then you become a target, too, because, these pros ain't going to let you keep, lighting them up for sacks like that. They're coming at you. And so, had he stayed healthy, I think he'd be up there. He would have been up there targeting the sack record.
So funny, we talked about changing positions.
Yeah.
Javon was one of those guys. Me and him came in '95 at UF, and we both came in at the same position, a free safety.
Yeah.
He was there for maybe 2 days, and then they switched him.
Yeah.
So it's one of them things. It's just funny how that works, man.
Yeah,
but
man.
it
Crazy,
definitely worked out for the best for him.
No doubt.
And it also looked like it worked out for you too.
Yeah, no doubt, man.
So-
That joker was fun to watch.
Yeah.
Man, Big Mike had, boy, in my eyes, boy, you done had a good career. Just with the guys he done seen play, the guys he done played with.
Man, let me tell you one other stat that
My
I guarantee you
goodness.
nobody else has done in the NFL. I got to play on 2 NFL teams with my best friend, my brother. I got to play in New England and in St. Louis with my best friend,
Well, there you go.
Is this
Ray
the one?
Agnew. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Well,
Dang.
yeah.
So Mike,
So we played together in college and with
Yeah.
the Patriots and with the Rams.
That's
What?
awesome, man.
Yeah. dog.
so Mike, okay, I know, I know we finna get into life after football, but what did the NFL do for you and your family and your neighborhood, just in general, man? Like when you became a professional football player, like what did it do for you? Like you went to the mall, everybody wants your autograph. You go in your neighborhood, everybody look at this Big Mike now.
Mm.
What it did for you and your family though?
It definitely changed things for my family. A lot. I think I told you earlier, man. My mother, she'd worked 30 plus years in education, and my mother was blind in one eye from childbirth, and so it gave me the opportunity to retire her and of course take care of my family, and the biggest thing was be able to take care of my kids because I didn't, I had no idea that their life would be such an adventure. And, my success allowed me to be able to provide for their path, and so it allowed me to also go back and, be fruitful in my community as well. My dad was still coaching at the high school at the time, and so at the time I got drafted, man. So my high school got the chance to do some things that my dad never imagined,
Right.
and that was super, super dope.
That's awesome.
Taking these hood, these hood kids, taking that high school program to big time camps, and the equipment and the shoes, and blessing the basketball program and things like that, and the band, and so it was real dope, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So you talked a little bit about taking care of your family and stuff like that. So you have 3 or 4 kids. How many?
4.
You have 4 kids.
Yes.
You have kind of go down the list for me.
Yeah. So my oldest son, Steven is our adopted son. We adopted him when he was 13. He went to University of Tennessee, played football there. He's in Nashville now working. Then there's Courtney. Courtney is Coco. Coco is she's 25 and she's doing her thing, acting and singing. Then there's Mike Jr. He went to IMG, played at Clemson for 3 years, then transferred to LSU and finished at LSU. And now he's with the Falcons. And then there's baby girl, the volleyball player, who's playing volleyball at FAM now.
Oh, okay. He still got a fam in his blood then?
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's safe to say,
Yeah.
you have some very talented people in your family when it comes down to your offsprings and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
We had a conversation. I know your two boys. They did their thing in football. A young lady that's doing volleyball right now. Then you got Coco, who's not doing a sport per se, but you told us that she was what?
Coco was absolutely the best athlete in the house. And sometimes I get caught dreaming about what would she have played? Would she have been the superstar that she was in softball? Would she have been a superstar that she was in basketball because she could hoop? I mean, I sit and think about the times when their cousins would pull up from South Carolina and all the hoopla and the excitement, and then bam, they on the court, and I could just still see her, out at the top of the court,
Yeah.
waiting to them to pick teams, and then they just hoop until it get dark. She could go.
Wow.
And she's got some legendary stories in flag football, back in Tennessee.
Yeah.
She was a dope athlete.
So Coco, she tall, Mike?
Yeah, she's about 5'9", 5'10",
5'9".
yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Just to see Coco Jones, that's a celebrity. She's a celebrity now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
it's mind-blowing.
BET Award. What the name of that song? I See You? I said
see
it
you.
right.
I think
Oh,
I see
yeah.
you.
But that song, that's deep right there, man.
Yeah.
Mike, man, looking at your daughter perform on TV, I don't see nothing about her that says athletic. I just see superstar performer. You mean tell me she was an athlete?
And here's where what's crazy, T, is here's where it ties in. You have to have bravery to step out there and hit a home run on the stage, and perform. And I would say that her number one characteristics that ties together her athleticism and her performance as a superstar is fearless. She has never been scared of nothing. Nothing. If I dare her to do a backflip right now, she'll be like, Dad, and then she'll find a way to prove to me that she can do it. She is always, I remember one time when she first started chasing her dream, and that's one of the things, we always say, hey, when you pick your dream, go for it. But she was, I put her on my flag football team, and I had assembled an all-star team. I had a couple other my old teammates. I had their son. I had Mike Jr. We had a squad, and we had a big game. And she was out of town, but they were flying back in for the weekend. Her and her mother were flying back in. And so she done already let me know, Dad, bring my uniform. I'll meet y'all at the game. I'm like, man, I got my squad, court. You tired? You might not play that much.
Yeah.
She gets there. She goes, changes. I don't even pay her no attention. She's standing on the sideline, hand on her hip, giving me the gas face because she ain't going in immediately.
Right.
So we going at it with the little team, and I just remember I don't know what happened, but I finally put her in, but it wasn't on offense. It was on defense, and she's hot. Next thing I know, she picks off a pass. She goes down the sideline running, and she's looking at me the whole time. And her body language is saying, nigga, don't you ever play me like that's who she is. What? Don't you ever play me like I'm not that one. I'm not the one out here.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, her life has been like that. Her athletic career was like that. Softball, all-star game. World Series, full count. Coaches just got through fighting, almost had to be separated. Next pitch, pop, home run. basis, come on in. We off to celebrate. She's just like that.
Wow.
What?
It's crazy,
So,
man.
Mike, so when you see her on TV performing at a high level, I'm talking about she a superstar now.
Yeah.
That's not surprising to you because, like you say, she's already competitive.
Yeah.
So that's probably why she's so good at what she do now, because she probably showing people, look, I can do this. I'm going to be this.
Yeah.
And that's your daughter, man. Like, you see her perform on BET. Like, what you be doing, man? How you?
Man, T, I went to a concert in Charlotte, man, and I'm so glad they don't have the cameras pan on me, man, because I be literally bawling. You know, it's an emotional roller coaster for me because it didn't all happen the way it, she wanted it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she went through the adversity. You know, she almost gave up on her dream. She wanted to give up, and her mother and I continued to encourage her, and she stayed faithful, and she finally got that opportunity, and she hit it out the park, and
Yeah.
and so I go through my emotions where I'm just so grateful that her career is manifested to where it is. Before I know it, man, I'm just covered in tears.
Yeah.
But then I also know that there's more. Courtney is going to be an outstanding performer the more she tours because she's a hard worker. She's a super hard worker.
Wow.
And so I know her mind is thinking about how can she get better. She's probably got somebody filming her shows and watching film like a coach.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, man, she always sung when she was a little girl. Did she?
I'm talking about always.
Yeah.
I remember, her mother and I being out one time, and we had them bricks back then, them brick phones.
Yeah.
We made sure we had that bad boy on
Yeah.
when we left, because if anything happened, we want to be right there. She was our first.
Right.
And we got a call from the baby. Say, bling, she blowing us up. Y'all know this baby can sing? And it was no surprise to us because I can still remember that sweet little angel voice singing Teletubbies and Blues Clues, and she always was always singing, and her mother would harmonize always.
Yeah.
So is it more? I mean, you see her singing, but then you also see her playing Hillary on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what's that like for you as a dad? I mean, is it the same type of feeling, or is it more so a little bit more exciting than the other?
You know what? That's an interesting question, man, because I still sometimes it's uncomfortable,
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
scenes.
kiss, the scenes.
Yeah.
And those are tough. I'd be lying if I said it's all gravy.
Right.
Those are tough, but I just charge it to her. That's her career, and I know what kind of young lady she is. But it's still kind of like, ugh.
Yeah.
Get your hands off my daughter.
Yeah, man. You know what I'm saying? Man, that was a good point you made, man. I'm glad you said that, man, because I think that, when we watch actors on TV and we see them kissing and stuff like that, and then they tell us, on the set, see, on the show, we only see them kiss one time.
Mm-hmm.
But on the set, they had to practice that thing about 10, 20 times.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Dang, Mike, when you see your daughter on TV kissing, man, she done kissed that dude about 100 times, Big Mike.
Oh, yeah, she tell me that's the funky part about it. But she looks out for her dad. She know I don't want to hear that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we don't talk about that part of it. But she has talked about it before, and T,
Man,
just the part you
I got
just
a
don't
daughter
talk
too,
about.
man. I feel you on that,
Yeah,
man.
man.
I feel you, man.
Make you want to do something, Green?
Ashy lip, just kissing on my daughter, man. You know, I have to deal with it.
Hey, man, why they just can't kiss on the cheeks, man?
Well, I sure hope she don't get no big part where there's a sex scene, Coach.
Man, you know,
boy, if you can't handle that kiss, boy, I know you ain't gonna be able to handle that cover movement.
man, I can't even handle the first lyric of the song. Something about the hand on my body. I mean, I told her that too, man. I'm like,
hey, Mike.
well, I look like singing that part.
I
of
kind of like that
song.
part though, Mike. Not about your daughter, but I kind of like what she's saying. You know what I'm saying?
I see you, man.
Yeah.
Hey, but Mike, that's a lot of pressure on you, Mike. Boy.
It is, man. You
Ooh.
know, she don't. You know, we had that conversation.
God dang,
Yeah.
boy.
I'm like, man,
That's so
these,
mean,
these lyrics are hard on your daddy heart a little bit. Like,
You
what
know
you
what?
mean? What
I'm
I mean?
glad.
Something about the hand on my body. Somebody got.
Mike.
Well, I'm glad we talking about that. See, now we get it from the parents' side, man.
Yeah.
They don't realize this. But
So
Man, listen.
So-
Somebody,
God,
go ahead.
you know, just a thought. You know, if that man thinking like
Like
hand on.
back to Luke days, right? All right. So Mike.
Hey, that ain't no comfortable picture.
Hey, real.
That ain't no
Well, your
Hey,
daughter,
hey,
your
you gotta get off
daughter
Coco,
is.
man. Mike ain't taking this away, man.
Well, we on truth be told right now. So, but
Truth be told,
Mike
man, that's
ain't
it.
taking this
But
away,
Mike-
man.
your daughter, is she a sex symbol at this point?
Man, let me give you an uncomfortable truth be told. We went to the concert in Charlotte, right? Before that, I went around to the radio show with her, you know, doing press and all that. So I done cried, I done laughed. We went to dinner. We had a good time, good conversation. We get back to the hotel where we're staying, and there's these group of men. Now, these ain't no young boys. These cats in their 30s, they from New York, and they see us before we got out of the van. Yo, let's Coco Jones. They got the phone. Let's take pictures. They run our whole life down. Yeah, Pops, we know you. We heard about you on this show, and yeah, we know you play. And he's like, yeah, man, this one cat. Yeah, Pops, I got a picture of your daughter in my phone, son.
Oh, no.
I'm like, man, you know, shit was cool.
He called you
until
son.
He said, son.
Yeah. Like, bruh.
Hey, Mike, hold on, Mike. Okay, but she got your sons, her brothers. Okay, how they feel about they sister is a upcoming superstar, movie star. Man, with that song she got, man, that's gonna be it. What that song, #1 in the charts at one point?
I know at one point it was.
Yeah,
You know,
man.
I talked with him about it, man. It's really mind blowing. It's just we literally have witnessed the emergence of a superstar, and it's like, I'm like, son, it's crazy to watch how he's like, yeah, man, it's like, wow, we can't even go anywhere with it. It's just,
Yeah, man.
it's
Just
crazy.
to see her grow up like that, Mike. And
Yeah.
man,
That's
it's-
awesome.
I mean, Mike, you got a superstar as a singer. You got a son in the NFL. You got another son that's probably doing great things in Tennessee.
Yes.
You got your baby girl
Yes.
on the hill of Tallahassee
Oh yeah.
at FAMU.
Yeah, that's the one I'm excited about as well, man. She's such a super sharp, beautiful young lady. I think she can do anything she wants, man. I think she can go into broadcasting. She's super intelligent. I think she can be an amazing author. I think she can. I'm excited to see what she decides to do. You know.
Man, that's a blessing, man.
Yeah.
So Mike, that's the one you spoiled, Mike. That baby girl.
Yes.
Mike, she got you, Mike.
Riding to the core.
She got you, big Mike. She
Yep.
got you, baby.
That's the
Well,
one.
it's interesting, the dynamics. So as a father, I catch myself doing this sometimes. Especially, you know, your baby girl, and you got all this stuff going on, the amount of attention that Coco's receiving, your kids, you know, your son. Do you have to make sure you give your baby girl some attention? Or anybody, any one of them, any attention that you think?
You know, with my youngest being 22, that's not really a problem. You know, they've all really been focused. They've all really had good, strong church backgrounds. You know, their mother has done an outstanding job. You know, giving them educational and Christian, and just from a woman's perspective, just a solid foundation in who they are and who they can become. I'm not worried about her at all. She's super sharp young lady. She's very charismatic. She's a type that can walk in the room and you just, her presence jumps at you. So
That's good.
she's real exciting. You know what I mean? So I haven't really had to play that role.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And I understand what you're saying because you would think one kid would kind of like in Whitney Houston, that movie The Bodyguard, where one sister was so jealous that she thought she was acting like fronting like she was on the team, but really she wasn't.
Right.
It's not like that, man. My sibling, my kids love each other. It's almost it gets me emotional to how much love they have for each other and how much they support each other. They talk every day, and they have the group chat, and
That's good.
it's really amazing their relationship. So
Good. Well, man, time is running away from us, Green, man. Time running away.
We talking to Mike all night. Boy, Mike got a unique family.
I
Boy.
know. But just before, because we got to wind this thing down. Currently now, you are now helping out with the high school level as football and also little leagues.
Oh yeah,
Right.
here in Palmetto.
And I know you've been down to the Venice program.
Yes.
Currently at Palmetto High School, and also out with the New Manatee Broncos.
Yes.
Little league team. How is it out there? Just giving back to the kids.
It's amazing. I told you my father was a coach for 33 years, and I've always wanted to be, just like my dad. And so giving back out there to the kids, coaching the game that I love is a dream of mine. I'm 100% in my purpose, especially being out there with the babies and being at the high school. My whole life is about pouring into youth. And so it's a really dope time in my life right now.
All right.
Venice gave me the incredible experience of being in a destination program. Coach Peacock has done an amazing job turning that football program into the catalyst for what has made an amazing school.
Right.
And I'd be lying if I said I would love to be a part of bringing some of those characteristics and foundational principles and things of that nature, and partnering with Coach Rashad over here at Palmetto, and just watching that thing blossom into the destination program that it could and should be.
Right. Big boy, shoot, Mike trained my son, man.
Oh yeah.
That's how I heard about Mike, man. Through Blake. Blake said, Dad, I got a coach training me named Mike Jones. He played in the NFL. I said, okay.
Yeah.
So he's showing me good things, Dad. I said, all right.
Man, I wish I'd had Blake 3-4 years ago. I wish I'd had him in high school. Man, he might have had some charges out there what he was doing to kids.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
We need to go back then. We can't go back in time.
You can't reset, Green.
Can't go back in time.
Nah, man.
But my wife, I'm telling you, man, my wife always, when Blake, his travels through football, and she said every step that he took, she always said that was God doing. And even going down to Venice and training down there, meeting you.
Yeah.
That was part of God's doing, because now look,
Right.
Mike's sitting here on the podcast with us.
Right.
Mike ain't even from around here, man.
Right.
Now he here in Manatee County,
And it's such a blessing to the community.
Yeah, man. So, yeah.
And it only took 9 seasons for y'all to get me on here, man. I've been
trying
to get on to be told.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
Well, it's an old church song back in the days. Say you might not, we might not come on time. Oh, no. I said it right. How I go? We might not. How I go?
Come on.
Boy, y'all telling on yourself about the...
We'll be right on time, right? That's how I go?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all right, T. I ain't been in church in a minute.
Man. Yeah, I ain't been in church in a long time either, man. I'm still coming up on the rough side of the mountain. I ain't scared to say it. I'm on the rough side.
We found that out last season that you were still on the rough side, baby. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir, boy.
But Mike, as we kind of close this thing out,
Yes,
man,
sir.
it's so much. And you said it. You said, man, shit, we can talk forever. You right.
I'm talking about.
But we got to end it, man, at some point. But before we do that, though, now that you're in high school, right, and you're seeing, high school kids, you're working with them all the time. You also get asked from parents a lot. What's your opinion? What can my son do a little bit better? There's this thing that I'm seeing happening, though, where kids are tending to make a lot of decisions
Yes.
themselves.
Absolutely.
And you would think that sometimes either the parent may not know, parent may know, I have no clue, but for whatever reason, the kids are making some drastic decisions that could potentially hurt themselves in the long run. So what do you say about things like that, Mike?
It's interesting you ask that. People, ask me all the time, hey, you got your family, your kids are doing so well. How did you do it? How this, how that? The one thing that I can stand on is that we as parents, we had one thing that we stood on. Well, two things, whatever you start, you were going to finish. That was critical. We just didn't allow quitting. And then number two, which was the most important, was that we make the final decisions. We as parents, we just that's just how it's going to be in our house. I recently had to witness a family make a decision with their kid on whether or not they were going to relocate to the state of Florida. Okay, their kid is super, super talented. He's a sophomore in high school. He's a rising junior. Now, the state that he's in, they don't have NIL as a high school player. Here in the state of Florida, that's coming on board, from what I understand. The state that he's in, the little private school that he's in, they don't get the notoriety that he would get playing here at a Florida school. And so I'm witnessing kids changing things for their families forever. They're going to college and they're getting, $10, $20, $30,000 a month, And so I'm saying, okay, as a parent, if we're in their shoes, son, pack your stuff, tell your friends goodbye, we're moving. It's not, son, do you want to move? Do you want to leave your friends? No, we make the final decision. And it's going to be like that until you're able to take care of your own responsibilities. You know what I mean? Okay. If you're in college and I'm still paying your car insurance, I'm making the decision on your car. That's, right. I'm paying for that. And so that's just how we've done things. It's worked out for us. And I hate to see families miss out on the opportunity. I mean, this kid he's going to be, by the time he's a senior, he's going to be one of the top players in the country playing at a little private school, where if he was down here in Florida, his family would probably reap the benefits, man. They'd see a return on the investment of him playing high school ball. Where he's at, they won't.
Right, I got you. That makes perfect sense. Yeah, makes perfect sense.
Ain't no kid making no decision in my house. Nah.
I tell when you said that, boy. I thought you about getting 4.6.
And I see it every day, man. Even with the little 6-year-olds. Well, we pulled up to practice and he said he didn't feel like going. I'm like, what? You raising a vagina.
Like, I see it all the time in the barbershop, bro. I see it all the time, boy. The kids, man, it be kids 4, 5 years old, be telling their parents what kind of haircut they want, and they ain't getting no haircut today.
Jeez.
I just hate, man. I be like, boy, look at him, boy.
I be like, hold your throat out real quick. Let me punch you in it.
That concrete jungle, boy. Roger Project, boy. Hey, boy, it gonna be a problem.
Well, Mike, man, geez, man, this has been a blessing of a conversation, man. I think before you walked in here, to the point where we finish up this podcast, I feel like I know you. I feel like I know you well. You gave a wealth of valuable information to our audience, and I definitely appreciate that. I to the point where, man, you know, me and Green, we talk sports all the time. Sometimes we have this thing we call Backyard. And those episodes, we just have conversations. So hopefully we can invite you back. Just sit in on those sessions and just have more of an open dialogue just about anything.
Man, that'd be dope. That would be cool.
Definitely
Mike
appreciate
gotta
that.
come back, hang out with us, man.
Mike, but before we let you go, man, we have this thing that we do. We call it Truth and Share. You pick a card, you read a card. We don't know what the card is going to say, but you can tell the audience what it says, and you just tell us your truth behind that. All right?
I got you. Pick this one since it's hidden. What is a weird food that you love? What's a weird food that I love? You know what? I like honeydew melon with tahini on it. Yeah.
I don't know if I know what that, Green. Do you know what that is?
No, what's tahini? Hold on, first of all, see that's the old NFL rich money stuff there. What that tahini? That's a seasoning.
Yeah, the little seasoning. You know, the red seasoning that they put on the Mexican corn.
Oh,
Yeah.
I know it's called tahini, but
I think that's the name of it. Yeah.
They
I
got
didn't
a little spice to it, don't it?
Yeah, man, it's amazing. You put it on water. I put it on watermelon. I put it on honeydew melon.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. And so
Real
I know it's not that
tahini,
weird. Tahini.
Tahini.
Yeah, I always put that emphasis on it when I say tahini.
That's good. I thought it was that red pepper stuff. I call it
Yeah.
I call it
was
that
some
red
old-
pepper stuff.
I thought it was some old bougie stuff, but I guess it ain't.
Nah, man.
You almost got us with that word there, baby. You know what I'm saying?
Well, my mama was an English teacher, so I drift back into the good speaking every now and then.
Yes, sir, man.
Well, Green, what you
Man,
you got any
Mike.
flowers, man?
Man, Mike, I'm gonna give you flowers, Mike, man. Cause boy,
Appreciate
look,
that.
Mike, for me, just knowing you, for just this amount of time, you know, I just almost my son been working out with you how long? About a year.
Yeah, about 2 years.
Yeah. So I'm really just getting to know Mike, man. But sound to me, man, like you're outstanding father, man. You got some kids doing some great things. So that means you're a good reflection on them kids, man. So I'm gonna give you flowers, Mike.
Appreciate that.
You're my boy now, Mike.
No doubt.
Now you come to the shop, Mike, stick your head through the door. Hey, T Green, what's up, man?
Word up.
So, man, I'm gonna give you flowers, man. Just keep doing good things, Mike, man. And Palmetto High and the New Manchi Broncos, y'all got a good coach, man.
Appreciate that.
So, yeah, man.
Thank you guys for having me.
Well,
Yes,
Mike,
sir.
hey, man, like I said, man, we're going to, hopefully you come back.
Oh, yeah.
Hang out with us in the backyard one day.
Backyard, baby.
And maybe you could share one of them LT stories with us during that time.
Boy, look. Y'all ready?
Big Mike, baby.
Well, listen, man, we had a great time tonight, man. I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. You know, we coming back with this season. We looking forward to some great things. So you guys make sure you stay tuned. Green.
Well, y'all know what I say, boy. Everybody can talk, but everybody don't tell the truth.
There it is. I guess Mike Jones has told the truth tonight.
There it is.
Hey, we'll see you guys later. Appreciate you.
Truth, really, that's all we know. Keep it real and authentic. This truth be told, only the truth. Tune in, cause you gotta watch. It's like you with us while we kick it in the barbershop. Here to motivate and inspire. Hosted by the real deal and the God Barber. I hope that you ready, keep it funny and edgy. Let's go. You already know, truth be told. Let's go.